Hello, this is Dr. Caruso. In this tutorial, I will teach you how to create a Gantt chart using Microsoft Excel. I'll be using Microsoft Excel version 2017 on a Windows operating system. Let's head on over to Excel and get started. The first thing you should do is create a spreadsheet and start roughing out your start dates and finish dates. In this example, I have 10 tasks. If you have more tasks, you go to the last task and you can drag your mouse down, starting in the lower right-hand corner, and press and hold the left mouse button, and it will automatically enumerate the tasks for you. You can get more specific about the tasks and name them to what they actually are. For example, meeting with my sponsor, or for example, create a learning objective. Whatever your task happens to be, you can be more specific and detail the description of the task here. But for purposes of this example, we're just going to show them as numbers. The second thing you should do is project ahead to determine the start date for each task and the projected finish date for each task. I've started populating the spreadsheet here just for representation purposes, and I've started populating a couple of the finish dates. So your spreadsheet should have a column for the task, start date, finish date, days completed, days remaining, and the duration that's going to be reflected in days of that particular task. Now, to automatically compute the duration, click into the cell that corresponds with the first task and the duration, and we're going to enter a formula. We're going to enter an equal sign, and you can see it is populating at the top right here. We are then going to highlight the finish date for the corresponding task number 1. And we are going to subtract from that the start date. Because if you subtract the start date from the finish date, you are going to get the number of days that this particular task has been allotted. And then you can go ahead and press Enter on your keyboard, and that will automatically populate for you. So this particular task has a duration of 6 days. Now let's go ahead and project, just so that I can tell you how to keep updating your chart. Let's say that out of those 6 days, you have completed 3, which means you are 50% complete with this task. In order to put in a formula here for the days remaining, we are going to subtract the days completed from the duration. So the duration minus the days completed is going to tell you how many days of this particular task are remaining. So we're going to put in a formula again. We're going to put an equal sign. So days remaining equals duration. So we're going to click on this cell minus days completed and press Enter on your keyboard. So it automatically calculates for you. So when updating the chart, the only thing that you would ever input manually is the days that you have completed. This is where you're charting your progress. It's true that you may have to adjust these dates, but if you do, this column is going to update automatically because you've put a formula. So let's go ahead and let's copy the formulas that we have created for these 2 cells. We are going to copy them all the way down so they are reflected on all of the tasks that we have identified. So with my cursor in the lower right-hand corner, I'm going to depress the left mouse button, and I'm going to drag this all the way down through task number 13. We've also inputted a formula here, so I would like to copy that all the way down here. And just to show you what that will look like, once we put a date in here, let's say that the finish date for this project is 7/1/18. This is going to automatically update. And let's say for these first 3 tasks, we've completed 3 days each. You can see that these numbers have also automatically updated. So the only thing that you are going to manually input is your start date, your finish date, and your days completed, now that you have formulas in the rest of your Gantt chart. Now let's create a visual form of this chart. So this is our data sheet. This is where our data is coming from, but we want to make a visual representation of this chart. And the way we're going to do that is with a stacked bar chart. So a Gantt chart can be simulated using Microsoft Excel with the stacked bar chart feature. So we're going to go up to our Insert tab, to the Chart menu, and the type of chart that we would like to create is located under this menu, where you see the bars that are going horizontal rather than vertical. And for me, the option is the second one over. Be sure that you are selecting a stacked bar chart. And you can see that Microsoft Excel has begun to populate the chart, but we are going to tweak it just a bit. We can use the plus sign to add a chart title. So here is where you would give it the name of your project. That's all we're going to do for now, but know that hovering over the upper right-hand corner gives you a menu with chart elements. We are going to right-click on the chart until you get the menu that says Select Data. We are going to remove all of these elements because we would like to create our own data. And we are going to add a series name called Start Date. In the series value, click on this blue menu here, and then select all of the dates in your start date column. Then you can press Enter and OK. Then the Select Data Source comes up again, and we this time are going to add days complete. Again, we're going to select here, and under the days complete column, we are going to select the entire column that will be populated with a number. Next, we are going to add days remaining. And we're going to do the same thing and select all the data in the days remaining column. Now, if you think about a Gantt chart, what information you really want to know is how many days have been completed and how many days are remaining. And we also, on this horizontal category axis, we see that tasks are listed 1 through 13, but they are missing the word task in front of them. So we are going to go ahead and edit and then highlight tasks 1 through 13. Enter. Looks like we missed one, so I'm going to cancel out of this. I'm going to move this away so I can see what I'm doing. Right-click, select Data, Edit, and I'm going to define my range of data here. Enter. And now I can see that my tasks are here. One thing I do see though is that the tasks are not in ascending order, they're in descending order. So I'm going to change that by right-clicking on this particular area of the chart. And I'm going to say Format Axis. And I'm going to click this box that says Categories in Reverse Order. And now we can see that they are in ascending order rather than descending order. And if I resize the chart area, all of my tasks will appear. So far, so good. But what we are seeing here is blue is showing the start date, red is showing the days complete, but I do not see the days remaining, so we may have to redefine that. I'm going to close out of here and check on that by right-clicking. I'm going to select Data, and I see that it did not populate here, so I'm going to add series name, days remaining, and I'm going to define them here. Okay. Okay again. Now it looks kind of jumbled up because we have not defined all of our data here. So let's go ahead and do that and see if it corrects our chart. So I'm going to project out some dates, and again they could be adjusted later when you have all your information available. And it's looking good so far. I'm just going to delete these for now. And our example will be just for 10 tasks. And now we can see it's beginning to look a little more like a Gantt chart. We have a legend at the bottom that is telling us start date, days complete, and days remaining. But remember, what we really want the Gantt chart to show is how many days of this task are complete, how many days are remaining, and the start date is indicated by where it falls on the dates of your timeline here. So we want to get rid of the blue. The blue is not really showing us any data. So I'm going to left click on the first one. That highlights all of the blue data. Then I'm going to right click, and for fill, I am going to say no fill. So that data does not even show. And since I've done that, we no longer need this word start date. So I'm going to double click on it until only the word start date is highlighted, and I'm going to delete that. So now we can see that our Gantt chart is showing us the start date for the projects and how many days are the duration as well, and how many days of those allocated days for duration are complete and how many days remain. So for example, when task 1 is complete, since for task 1 we have said that it has a duration of 6. When it's complete, we're going to go ahead and manually enter a 6 here to show that it is 100%. When we do that, days remaining are 0. And on our chart, it shows that that task is complete. Now with this visual representation, we can put it on another page. So for example, if I wanted to add another page to this spreadsheet, I can put my chart here and my data here, and every time I update this, let's do it for this, let's make this complete at 8, go to my next sheet, we can see that that is completely updated. It's nice that you are able to email this type of data to whoever needs an update on your project. I can put it back on sheet number 1 if you just want to have it appear below the data table. That's fine as well. Just know that you can move this around, and as long as it stays in the same Excel worksheet, it will, or workbook, it will update. If you hover over here, you can have some other things that you could also show on your chart if you would like to. And that is entirely up to you. If you would like the spaces between the dates to increase or decrease, you would left click on this particular axis and then right click to format the axis. And here you can adjust your major and minor units. So let's put this down to 10 and see how that changes things. And of course, then we would have to stretch out our chart to see a more detailed depiction of those dates. I hope this tutorial has been helpful, and I hope that you will use Gantt charts for your projects. Thank you for watching.